I'm pleased to announce this morning that residents of the Poudre Park area will be allowed to return home today at noon. That will be most of the residents of Poudre Park. Those areas that will not be returning today are the Boyd's Gulch area, also known as Kings Canyon Road, Falls Gulch, and Unger Mountain. Most of those areas are to the south of Highway 14, and they are not included. Those residents who will be allowed back in will receive an emergency notification later this morning. We ask that they not clog Highway 14 as they get ready to go back today, because we still have a lot of fire crews using that road, and we need to keep it open and clear for those firefighters to get through. There are a few meetings today I'd like to tell you about. At noon today, the Upper Poudre Canyon residents up in the Rustic area will have a meeting at the chapel in Rustic to get information about their area. At 3 o'clock today, we'll have our regular citizens briefing out at the ranch for the current evacuees. And at 7 p.m. tonight, the Poudre Park residents that have been allowed back in will have a mandatory meeting, and that will be either at the fire station or at the community center, depending upon the number of people that they have attending. So those are the announcements that I have. We'll take questions for Bill or myself at this time. Yeah, at noon, they should be allowed back in at noon today. Yeah, I'll still have quite a few people, a lot of areas that are still under mandatory evacuation, particularly down that Redstone Canyon area, Lowry State Park, the Buckskin Heights area, those areas down in there. So quite a few areas, quite a few people still out of their homes. We're constantly evaluating those areas to see if we can get them back in. And at this point in time, I don't see that it'll be probably early next week before we'll have any other areas that could be potentially allowed for people to come back home. Based on the higher temps, how can you be more aggressive today versus tomorrow? Sir, I mean, I know you have to be careful, but today how are you more aggressive across tomorrow or Saturday?
We have slightly higher temperatures today, but our relative humidity and winds is pretty good today. So we have less of a fire threat today than we will tomorrow. We do have to be careful about putting an additional fire on the ground with heavy winds coming in Friday and Saturday. So this is a balancing day where we're in a transition from the conditions that we could have some problems with Friday and Saturday.
You talked about being aggressive. Did you get the progress you wanted to see yesterday? Folks might say, hey, but today it takes only 55%.
Containment is only one measure, and a better measure is to look at the whole fire picture. So let me just see if I can help you with that. What we currently have is this area here, and although we don't have containment here, what we do have is a large area of burned fuel, some of which we lit and some of which was natural progression of the fire. So what that gives us, if you look at a west or a southwest wind and look at threats to subdivisions, particularly Glacier View, this fire is going to have a pretty hard time getting around what's already been burned. So that's major progress in this interior that we didn't have until recently. Let me just add to this interior and this notion of question of containment. We have numerous areas within the fire with edge, fire edge, with homes within those islands of unburned fuel shown as these red areas. So here and all throughout, we're working as we speak to achieve direct containment of all this perimeter with crews to make sure this fire isn't going to continue to try and get established and come out towards those residents. Until the last couple of days, we've primarily worked this with engines to try and diminish that threat. Now we're going more direct with lines and making sure all these perimeters are secure. So that's some additional measures which are really important but don't necessarily reflect in containment to the perimeter.